Lele News Central TV.
Right, welcome back. You're still watching Breakfast Central on News Central. It's a Friday. Let's carry on the show on the road. But don't forget to follow us on all our social media platforms. And I see that with a smile on my face. We are also at News Central TV on Facebook and Instagram, and also on Twitter outside Nigeria, I have to add. Now, across the globe, tourism has evolved as one of the most expensive and diverse sections of our times. Now, representing one of the largest and fastest growing economic sectors in the world. Now, tourism contributes 9% of global GDP. Now, importantly, supporting the livelihoods of 1 in 11 people worldwide. Now, the sector has become a source of immense opportunity and possibility. But as you know, COVID-19 has really come to burst the bubble of that sector. But joining us this morning to really shed more light, African perspective-wise, is Lele Balde. She is the editor, Business Day Weekender, and a travel and food enthusiast. Well, Lele, good morning. Welcome to Breakfast Central.
Good morning, and thanks for having me.
All right, good to meet you. Well, you're a weekender at the series, a serial African traveler.
Yes.
Yeah, tell us about, African destinations, African travel, African tourism, and what you've witnessed in the last couple of years.
Yeah, so first of all, thank you for having me. And I think that, so with African travel, I think as Africans, we need to be more open to exploring the continent. I think most people, when they think about going on vacation, they think about going to Europe, going to the US, going to the Caribbean. And I mean, those places are absolutely wonderful, but we have such beautiful and amazing places on the continent. And I think that it promotes not only our economies, but it also promotes a Pan-African mindset. So for me, I 8 times out of 10, if I have to choose a vacation spot, it's on the African continent.
All right.
Yes.
So how many African countries have you traveled to and been to?
So I've lived in 8 African countries.
Lived in 8?
Yes, throughout my life. But I think I've visited probably close to 30 African countries, yes.
8 African countries?
I've lived in 8 African countries.
Wow.
Yeah.
Oluchi, did you get that?
I did. I did, Olisa, and I'm curious to know, what places can we really go to? Because a lot of us don't think there are places we can actually travel to in Africa.
Right.
We're always looking at beyond. Tell us some of the African places that are exciting.
Like Dubai,
Dubai, yeah, no, who doesn't love Dubai? But I think, okay, so there's so many places. As you know, we have 54 countries in Africa. But I'll talk about 2 or 3 places today. The first one would be Senegal. Senegal is a country.
That's also in West Africa too.
Wait, it's a West African country that I happen to be from, actually.
Yes. Explain about it.
Yes.
Pardon my ignorance.
Yeah. So Senegal's a beautiful country, rich with culture. As you know, we're part of the Jollof Wars debate. Some people say that it originated in Senegal, but that's not the conversation
don't want to argue. We are still having beef with Ghana. Leave that jollof rice matter.
Exactly. Exactly. So Senegal's a country where, there's beaches, there's art, there's culture, there's food. You can really literally, from Nigeria, you can go there with, with 2 different airlines. It's a 3-hour flight. It's not as expensive as it would be if you went to London or somewhere else, but you really get to understand another African culture. You get to go to different beaches. We have something called the Pink Lake. So it's a lake that's pretty much pink because of the salt levels. And we also have this great statue called the Statue of the African Renaissance.
Okay.
It's the statue of a man, a woman, an African woman, a man, and a child. And it's almost supposed to be like the Statue of Liberty for Senegal.
Wow.
So it's really a great place to visit. And I would definitely invite anybody to come and see. It's also a French-speaking country. So si vous parlez français, c'est parfait pour aller au Sénégal. Il faut aller au Sénégal.
Pardon my French. All right. So apart from Senegal, where else?
So Zambia is also a great destination.
Down south.
Down south. So Zambia is a southern African country, and you can get there through South Africa, or you can actually go through Kenya. And I actually spent some time there in May, and it was such a beautiful country. People are really, really nice, and also there's also a lot of culture. So as you know, the Victoria Falls is huge in Zambia and in Zimbabwe. So the Victoria Falls
is it in Lusaka?
Is in Livingston.
Okay, that's away from Lusaka.
Yeah, so it's an hour's flight from Lusaka, and I think you can drive there. It takes about 4 hours, and it's the most beautiful, site that you'll ever see. And I also love Zambian food as well. It's absolutely delicious, and people are super nice there.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, Oluchi,
Now, I mean, Olisa, I'm just dreaming Senegal, 3 hours flight, and that's like from Lagos to Benin by road.
Exactly.
It's even lesser than the time
Yeah.
spent Lagos to Benin by road. But apart from Senegal, what about Tanzania? I've heard about Tanzania.
Yeah, so Tanzania is also a beautiful country. As you've seen, I'm sure people are going to Maldives a lot, for the beautiful waterways and whatnot. So I kind of
Wow.
call Tanzania like the Maldives of Africa, in the sense that you don't have to go all the way to Maldives to have that experience. You can have that experience right in Tanzania. It's an East African country. The capital is Dar es Salaam, but the place that people know is Zanzibar, because that's the
Yeah.
coastal area, and it's also a very historical area where you can kind of go around, do town tours, and really understand like the culture, the very rich Tanzanian culture that's there. So Tanzania is definitely a place that people can go enjoy, and it's also quite affordable to go from Nigeria.
I
Well,
like the
Oluchi.
sound of that, affordability. I mean, but we're talking about tourism, and tourism is a good sector that can generate revenue for the country. I mean, looking at Nigeria, in 2019, the tourism revenue that was generated for Nigeria went to about $1 billion US. Now,
Yep.
that's lesser than what was raised in the previous year of 2018, which is about $2 billion US. Now, we know pandemic has happened, yeah? And we know it has affected movement, and it has done a lot of restrictions in and out of different countries and even interstate in a particular country. But tell us, how can we in Nigeria generate more revenue from tourism? Let's not forget that Nigeria alone has religious tourism where millions of money can be generated. But how else can we generate more money from tourism?
I think that's a really great question. I think that Nigeria has really great touristic attractions. I think that the PR of Nigerian tourism needs to improve. I think that we need to become our own advocates. We need to actually go to these places and visit them, right? And advocate for ourselves. I've been seeing a lot of influencers on social media going to different places in, Zuma Rock, there's a place in Ondo State that has a very famous rock kind of area, and people have been going there. So I think that we have to be our own advocates first, and also invest in tourism, invest in the Ministry of Tourism, and also invest in entrepreneurs who are trying to put forth tourism in Nigeria. So just support the ecosystem, and also pride ourselves in what we have to offer, in this country.
You're a travel writer. You travel and also you document this your destination. So, what would you say has been the biggest, effect of the pandemic in the tourism industry? Africa-wise.
I think Africa-wise, obviously the first one that we would say is airlines have suffered the most. Restaurants have also suffered, hotels. But I think travel for me during COVID has been interesting because, you can get vaccinated now. So that's kind of an option. But it was really stressful in the beginning, having to get all these COVID tests, going through the airports, but you kind of do get used to it. And I think that most carriers are prepared to, care for people during COVID-19. So for me, I just make sure that I get tested. I haven't gotten vaccinated yet. I plan to, but I've been able to travel freely, and just, you wear your mask, you sanitize, and you kind of hope for the best.
All right. Thank you so much, Lele Balde, travel writer, Business Day Weekend editor, and also enthusiast of food. Thank you so much for coming on Breakfast Central.
Thank you for having me.
All right.